the burial of the year as our next category.
This is one of my favorite picks of all of this.
I couldn't wait to hear this from you. I promise you. I was looking through the awards and I said, which ones am I really looking forward to the most from Jay? This was on there because you always have a great burial.
Good.
Ariel Emanuel, congratulations. You have won a Marky Award for Burial of the Year. Who would have thought the king, the emperor, the man who made professional wrestling what it is today would ever get buried?
Subscribe!
Ariel Emanuel buried the shit out of Vince McMahon. He bought the company and said, yeah, pal, I want you to still be in power and I still want you to do your thing. The transaction goes through. Ariel Emanuel says, yeah, I like people to do the job that they're hired to do. Vince, you're not hired to be in creative. That's what Triple H's job is. You go over there and you stay in the corner and you're going to do what I tell you to do.
This is not such good shit, pal.
Ariel Emanuel, thank you so much. This is the greatest burial I have ever seen in my life. Better than when AJ Styles buried or Undertaker buried AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, honestly, that was, I don't know how we are on the same wavelength again, Jay, but you're right. I mean, the man who buried everyone he possibly could have for 40 years.
Yep.
More than that, probably, right? The man who held the keys to professional wrestling. The man who, before Hunter Hearst Helmsley, before Triple Paul held the golden shovel in his hand, got his comeuppance, finally. And you know what? We thank Vince McMahon for everything he's done for our entertainment over the years. We really do. We really, really do. I mean, like, for real. I mean, think about it. Like, without Vince McMahon, WWF, WWE doesn't become what it is. We're all watching WCW to this day. So, but in the sense of the last, I don't know, since probably what? 2001, right? Last 20, 22 years, this man has had an iron grip on professional wrestling no matter what anyone did.
Iron Claw.
Exactly. No matter what anyone did, no matter how hard any other promotion tried. Bye, Bobby. No matter how hard any promotion tried, they could not get to this guy. He just held the keys to everything because of the structure of the business. He structured the business to himself. Now, times change. He decided, I'm going to cash out, but I still want to be in charge, pal. He found a guy he thought, oh, yeah, you could definitely do that. No, buddy. No.
Hey,
no.
pal.
Because Ariel Emanuel is smart enough to realize when a change is needed. Ariel Emanuel was smart enough to realize, you know, we can't keep doing this. We can't have 80-year-old Vince McMahon running the show anymore. We just can't do it. You know, we need to have younger blood. We have a guy right here that Vince McMahon himself groomed and tried to stop from taking over creative. We got to remember that he tried to bury the shit out of Triple H in the past year. And Ariel Emanuel was like, no, this guy knows what he's doing. I've watched NXT. I've watched what he did creatively. Fans were responding positively. That's the thing. He realized fans were responding positively to what Triple H was doing, and fans hated shit out of what Vince McMahon was doing. And that's what led to that. I mean, that happened in it, right?
And Jefe, one of the things is, as you know, in our business, like in general, TV ratings are going down.
Sure.
Since Triple H took over, they've been up over 10% on both main shows.
And that is huge these days. That is fucking huge, especially after especially after years and years and years and years of just sharp decline. I think they were peaking out at like in 2012 In the last 10 years, it's just been a steady decline. It's to the point where they're getting less than 1 million viewers for Raw and SmackDown. No. But now we're back over 1 million, back and, steadily increasing, people seeing their social media presence. I think CM Punk coming back, that huge moment probably intrigued a lot of older fans who were watching 10 years ago to maybe tune back in again. And you know what? If they keep doing that and they keep building these stars around these guys, that's the key. You got to build people around these guys who have been established, because that's what Vince McMahon forgot to do for 20 years. And now look at that. And now, exactly. And now, like, when he comes back, like, obviously, it got to the point where when Cena left, it's like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Because, like, there's no stars on the show anymore.
Right.
And it took years for them to build these guys back up. And it's because of Triple H's guidance and because of his knowledge of the business and the knowledge of the wrestling psychology and his just knowledge of what the fans want. He listens to what the fans want for the most part. I mean, you can't give fans everything you want. You gotta give fans a little bit of a gotta give them a little tease. Gotta lead them on a little bit because it's wrestling.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta keep people watching. But he knows pretty much not to piss them off.
Right.
He knows when he needs to pull the trigger on something. And that's what Vince McMahon forgot, and that's why he got buried this year, finally. And professional wrestling in the future will be better off for it. I like it. Does it do it when you do this?
It does that. Yeah.
No way. Is it doing it?
All right. Tim has CM Punk with the burial and a subtle jab to the young fucks in his WWE promo.
The effing wife has Tony Khan burying the women's division of AEW. And if you don't believe her, just go look at the landscape of the women's division in AEW.
I got 2 words for you.
To the point where I might actually have to pull up the old book.
Here's how bad the AEW women's division is. I can even tell you who their champion is right now. I really just don't know because I don't care because they haven't done anything with it. And that sucks because they have some great talented women over there. But, they have no guidance. They have no backing from Tony Khan. It feels like WWE was 10, 15 years ago.
And allegedly, Tony in 2024 is looking to make that part of the forefront of his company going forward. All that being said, AEW Collision is going to be in our area in 2 weeks, and I'm still kind of contemplating whether or not to show up at the show.
I mean, I kind of want to go because I've never been to an AEW show. I've interviewed a lot of their talent, but I've never been able to go to a show. Actually, it's kind of weird they never reached out to me this time. Maybe
Sad.
I don't know if they really knew that for Dynamite or what, but I keep seeing the promo on Facebook every time I'm scrolling through. There's Saraya. Yeah, saying, come to the Ted Constant Center at ODU. And I'm like, I can't do an accent. I can't do a female version. Terrible at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see you've seen the promo. I'm like, wow, that's weird that they have not reached out to me. So, hey, if you want AEW, if you're watching, Tony Khan, if you're watching and you want to do an interview, we can do it. I promise to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him Paul White again.
Oh, yeah. Big Show was great. I loved him. Ricky Starks was too.
And for my burial of the year, where the hell is it? Because why would I do this in order? Because that would just make too much sense. Elias. Elias dropped the Ezekiel gimmick to the point where we put him in the Fn Marks Hall of Fame last year. Very happy to see him. Very happy to have him back as Elias. Came out at the Royal Rumble. Michael Cole shat all over him the entire time he was in the match. Got put in nothing but squash matches against Omos, and then got future endeavored. This was a man who, for me, was the highlight of WrestleMania 35. I loved his performance at WrestleMania 35. It was one of my favorite things. The man was talented. He might not have been the greatest wrestler.
No.
But he knew how to get a connection with the audience. He knew how to get that reaction from them. His night in Seattle with Captain Cupcake, where they pissed everybody the fuck off, and they booed the shit out of him, and then just the loudest you've probably ever heard a building in your entire life is what they were reacting to Elias.
So loud, Kevin Owens, who was right next to him, could not hear him.
Yep.
Like, and when WWE comes to town and does these like live shows, like They have mics around the arena, and they can, to an extent, control how loud the crowd sounds. They could not stop that.
Yep.
And as Kevin Abreu on YouTube is mentioning, like the Elias and Kevin Owens segment on Raw was one of the best segments ever.
Yes.
Yep. He also did ask, do we believe that the AEW product is ice cold? I'm not going to say AEW is ice cold because clearly they sell a lot of tickets. They sold out All In London. They still sell some tickets in the United States, but they are not what they were, 12 months ago or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean they're on this like downward spiral. They still have time to get this thing fixed and going forward. One of the things I heard rumored talked about this week is the Triple H and WWE top brass met with WBD about possibly getting into the Monday Night Raw mix. And it sounds like it didn't go great. It actually sounds like Tony Khan met with them. I think it was the day later. And Tony Khan was talking, oh, yeah, we had a really positive conversation. I don't know if he's just blowing smoke, but the fact that it sounds like it didn't go well with WWE, it lends, I think, some credence that it did go well with AEW. And this could spell good things for them extending their deal with Warner Brothers Discovery.
Brother.
So I would say if it was ice cold, guess what? They wouldn't be signing any sort of deal with anybody.
Exactly.
Yep.
So they're doing enough and keeping enough people in. Not that this is a good gauge of anything, but Dynamite actually did outdo Raw this week as far as ratings. To be fair, Monday Night Raw was on Christmas.
Right.
And it was a recap show.
Yeah. So it's not apples to apples here, but AEW pretty steadily pulls in about 800 to 850,000, which on cable is pretty damn good these days.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, AEW's in the mud. It's not, Warner's not going to want to sign, and the ratings are declining. Warner's going to want that. TNT is going to want that. And TNT or TBS, whichever one they want, whichever turn network they're going to want to put them on, that's huge ratings for them. That's huge ratings. And, and especially in the era, like Jay, you mentioned, in the era of cable where, people are cord cutting left and right, it's good to have a product that people want to watch on your platform because that means more subscribers to you. Now, that said, I think they're going to need to expand a little bit. I think they're going to need to utilize the Max platform in their next deal. I think they're going to need to start streaming pay-per-views on that platform as opposed to Bleacher Report. They could really draw in a lot more eyeballs if they do that. So they're going to really need to really negotiate that and really find a way to make more original content. And I think that will help them out a lot in the long run.
You know what they need to do if they really want to get these rating numbers accurate from AEW is you cut off the first quarter hour of Dynamite. Because we all know those are all the people that are left over that have just watched Sheldon Cooper do Sheldon Cooper things. And then they just like, hey, let's see what's happening on this wrestling shit. Oh, look, it's the guy who bleeds all the time. Oh, look,
it's the other guy who bleeds all the time. What happens when we get Moxley and Ric Flair in the ring at the same time?
I don't want to see it because that's just going to be way too much blood.
I hope that they are up on their O positive at the local hospital.